Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the ME163 B-0 sitting at 8.3 battle rating. Well, this is the second new plane of course in this patch. You flew it out a little bit and it was quite the experience. Of course I hadn't flown the ME163s for a long time, so I killed myself several times with ripping my wings before I got back into the flow of things. But once you get into the flow of things, this one is blessed with MG151s, and actually with the pods which I'm using right here, you have 4 of them. Magnificent. The maximum speed in this plane at sea level is 957 kilometers an hour. At 4500 meters this is 780 kilometers an hour. And finally at 6500 meters still go up to 702 kilometers an hour. Now the effective battle rating of this plane is actually 9.0. 90% of your matches will be that battle rating, because of course it's 8.3, thus you cannot be matched up with 7.0, which really reduces your options. And you get up tiered quite a lot to 9.0, but the plane can manage, and with careful flying you will be able to survive and not be shot down so often, and that's a good thing. You also have a little bit more ammo, and you have guns that can actually kill a plane. Of course the 30mm have also been made more lethal, but you still got more sparkles with the 30mm for some reason. Maybe that will never be solved, maybe it will be, who knows. But I love the MG151s on this plane, they are absolutely devastating. Top speed in a dive in this plane is 988 kilometers an hour before she redlines, and 1060 before she rips apart. Now at the 9.0, which is regular playing with this plane, 9.0 is your base battle rating where you fly. That is not very fast, it's a slow plane at that battle rating at all altitudes. But that's not its main strength. Of course the control stiffening starts slightly at 700 kilometers an hour and becomes quite severe in a roll rate at 900. This plane is very rippable before that though. With the right amount of elevator and ailerons involved, this plane can easily rip a wing even before 900, where the control stiffening becomes quite severe. Between 700 and 900 kilometers an hour you are already quite at risk of ripping off a wing, and that is very frustrating in the beginning, but you have to get used to it. You have to adopt a certain fly style for this plane, and if you do that she starts to perform. The stall speed in the plane is 130, which is also quite nice. There is another, of course, downside to the plane, that is the fuel load, because this is a rocket plane and you have limited fuel, so you got to do your devastating work in about 4 minutes. You can extend this quite a bit by flying. Once you get a little bit altitude, you start flying at between 25 and 50% fuel, or throttle, sorry. And if you do that you consume less fuel, so the fuel lasts a little longer than the 6 minutes. You can even, if you have an altitude and you are cruising along at a slight dive, you can put it to 0, extending it even more. But inevitably, eventually you will run out of fuel before most other planes, and you gotta find a safe space, an airfield. You gotta find a place and a moment to be able to go to the airfield without the problems of enemy fighters on your ass and such. So you gotta look for an opportunity to get back to base without much problems there. And that is even also a little bit of a challenge sometimes. Firepower in this version with the 4 MG151s is excellent. A good ammo load. You have 4 20mm MG151 cannons. The pods have 80 rounds per gun, and the regular 2 guns have 120 rounds per gun. I used air targets with a 600 meter convergence. The acceleration in this plane in a straight line is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. In a dive the acceleration is very good. The energy retention in the horizontal is excellent, and in the vertical it's also absolutely excellent. Fantastic performance when you have the rocket. If you are run out of fuel, of course, that's a whole different story. But yeah, excellent performance from the plane. The climb rate is fantastic as well. The turn time is very good, with flaps ripping off at 530 kilometers an hour. So you got to be a little bit aware there. Only at the lower speeds can you use those flaps, but all in all, very good maneuverability. The roll rate is only decent, and the average maneuverability, the overall maneuverability, is good, with a very good turn time and a decent roll rate. The overheating in the plane is not an issue at all. There is no overheating, probably because it's a rocket. And the durability is it's actually mixed results. I would call it average. Sometimes you can take a few hits, sometimes you get a fire or you immediately are in trouble. This is a real boom and zoomer that can also energy fight and turn fight. It's actually a jack of all trades that can do everything quite well. The only disadvantage is that you always are in up tiers in this plane, and a lot of the fighters are quicker than you, so you always got to be aware of your lack of speed. The good thing is that the rocket does give you good acceleration and stuff like that, so you can initially sometimes run away from people, but eventually they will catch up on you, and you gotta adjust your tactics and your playstyle to that. But I mean, overall, this is a very nice plane that can transition between different fighting styles very easily. But it does have a few, you know, not even small downsides, like the fuel limitations and the easy rippable wings that you have. So all in all, yeah, there's pros and cons to this plane, but I think the MG151 definitely make the whole concept of this plane more lethal and more reliable, let's say. Where you once had to hope for maybe 1 kill, maybe 2 with the 30s, this reliably gives you more kills, and I like it. I have to say, I like it. Sometimes you just get caught, of course, by the top tier jets, but there is no going around that. I do like this setup though, much more than with the 230s, and 220s would have been one thing, but 420s, the option of the gun pods, is absolute devastation. You know, it makes the plane more lethal than the G56 or the G55S, for example, which are planes that I absolutely love because of their lethal armament, and this plane now, you know, supersedes that, which is absolutely fantastic. The aiming does take a little bit, of course. The MG151s take a little bit more lead than most other 20mm, and in jets you gotta give extra leads due to the speed, so yeah, there is that. But all in all, I quite enjoy this plane in this setup. 4 kill match, we have that screen here. Let's see what we got for rewards. We got Final Blow, the best squad, Terror of the Sky, and Bulletproof. 32,000 Silver Lions and 2,600 research points. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now, I had a lot of fun in this plane. There was frustration in the beginning because I wasn't used anymore to the rippability of this plane when you are on high speeds above 700 and you use full elevator and immediately use ailerons as well. This is an immediate snap into oblivion. And I had a few scares. I just fucking scared myself a few times with my reaction to the wing rip, let's say. But that happened a few times. But when you get used to that again and you start to fly this thing as it should be flown, using the trick that I said about the fuel, you gotta put your engine throttle to 30%, 40%, 50%, sometimes even 0% when you have your altitude or your place where you want to be. You can also rush in this plane with this firepower, by the way, so that is also a choice. But if you want the fuel consumption and you want to be the plane from above who dives on players coming up, following other planes and stuff like that, then you gotta use your fuel sparingly once you're up there. And with the wing rips, you just gotta make sure you lose some speed in the vertical first, and then you start turning and use ailerons. And once you've lost some speed, you can freely maneuver. You outmaneuver pretty much anybody. So there is that fantastic plane with fantastic firepower and a lot absolutely a lot of fun. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.